The price of a pouch of Wuyi Rock Tea, like this one here, can range from few euros up to hundreds of euros for exactly the same amount of leaf. The terroir is one of the main reasons for this huge price difference, and in this video I would like to speak about the geography of Wuyi Rock Tea to understand which is the correlation between the price and the location of the tea gardens. Hi guys, this is Gabriele from nannuoshan, where we share the pleasure of drinking and discovering genuine farm tea. And if you're new here in our channel and you're also looking to expand your tea knowledge and brewing skills, then make sure to click on the subscribe button. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up if at any point of time you enjoy watching. Alright, today we're going to speak about Wuyi Rock Tea, and we're going to speak about a very specific topic about geography. But before I start, let me say one thing to you. You really want to stick to the end of this video, because only if you look the whole video up to the very end, you will understand the whole picture. I cannot tell you more about that right now, but you will understand when you have seen it all and you have reached the end of the video. Alright, so Wuyi Rock Tea are actually, I would say, the most famous oolong tea in the world. They are maybe the first place is in between them and the TEAWARE, although TEAWARE in a recent time is going down in the Chinese market. So I would say at this point, arguably Rock Tea is really the most famous one. But what makes Rock Tea so famous? Well, what makes Rock Tea so famous? One of the things is definitely the terroir, definitely the place where Rock Tea grows, as we will see in this video. I'm, by the way, drinking, of course, a Rock Tea to get inspiration. It's not only the terroir the main reason, but also the hype that has been created in China and then from China to the rest of the world about the fantastic Rock Tea. And now, to understand all that, we have to go through, first of all, through the three main features of the taste of a Wuyi Rock Tea, which are the aroma, first place, the aroma of the leaves, the intrinsic aroma of the leaves that can be floral, can be fruity, can be spicy, whatever it is intrinsic in the leaves. Then we have something that comes from the processing, which is the roasting. Most rock teas, actually all rock teas, are roasted, some heavily, some not, and this processing, the roasting, gives the tea a very characteristic taste. And the last aspect of the taste is actually the minerality of the texture, the mineral texture of the tea that comes from the soil. So we have the leaves, we have the processing, and we have the soil. And leaves is in any tea, so any tea has the characteristic taste of the leaves. Roasting can be done or not, it depends on us. But what is really peculiar of yancha, and you can find it only in yancha, this very characteristic minerality that comes from the soil. And that's why it's actually called rock tea, or actually the word in English when we translate with rock tea is not very correct, because the Chinese would rather, they call it yancha, and yan means cliff. So yancha means cliff tea. So the Germans make a better translation of it. They call it Felsentee, which really means cliff tea. Anyway, they refer to this specific taste of the rock tea as yan yun. Yan yun means cliff rime. So if you want cliff tea, is the taste of the cliff. And this is what we really have to understand, that in this area there are big cliffs, and these cliffs over the centuries, over the millennia probably, have, for sure actually, have been given an additional minerality to the soil. And on top of that, we have to say, of course, that this minerality from the soil goes into the leaves, into the plants. And there is another aspect, is that in some specific area, these cliffs are very tall and very close to each other. This means that due to the proximity of the cliffs, you have very little sunlight that can enter the bottom of the valley. So the plant receives just a tiny bit of sun. It means they grow very slow and they have a lot of time to collect all the nutrients or the mineral from the soil. All right, now we are already speaking actually about the valley, about the cliffs. We've gone a little bit too far and too fast. We have to do one step back, because the tea we say is called Wuyi yancha, Wuyi Rock Tea, Wuyi Cliff Tea. So there is Wuyi at the beginning. But what is Wuyi? Wuyi is the name of a county. Actually, to be precise, is Wuyishan, which means Wuyi mountain. And let's see first of all where Wuyishan is located. So if you look at China, in the southeast of the country, there is a province that is called Fujian. Fujian is a very important province for tea, and within Fujian, in the northwest of the province, there is a prefecture that is called Nanping. In Nanping, again, in the northwest of the prefecture, you have a county that is called Wuyishan. Wuyishan is a county that is approximately 70 by 70 kilometers, north to south and east to west, so about 45 times 45 miles. And if you look at the very center of the province, you see the capital, which has the same name as the county, Wuyishan. Just southern of Wuyishan, there is a green area that you see on the map that is actually referred to as a protected area. And if you look close to that area, you see that there is a river which makes several bends within the green area. And in fact, this river is called the Nine Bend River, which in Chinese is said Zhou Chu Shi. By the way, this means, of course, Nine Bend River, but the word Shi is not the general word for river, which would be He. It is more referring to a brook, to a small stream, a more small mountain stream, if you want. Now, I have written here a few names that I want to give it to you, since I tend to forget their wording in Chinese. I wrote it down. So the protected area, which is the green area, is in Chinese is called Bao Hu Chu. So Bao Hu Chu is a name that you might want to remember, you want to search after. And if you look even closer to the protected area, in the very center, in the very core, there is a region that is called more the scenic area, that is the one that is also accessible by tourists. And scenic area in Chinese, it is JING QU. And so you have also those names. And by the way, all this region is also a UNESCO Natural World Heritage Site. All right, I don't need any more these to remind me how to say all this in Chinese. All right, so now at this point we can go back to our cliff and our valley. So we are really in the core, in this green region where you have these high cliffs and the valleys. And now we want to speak again about price. So I told you before that the high price is driven by the terroir, but that's an incomplete statement. We have also to mention other aspects that influence the price. For example, the age of the trees. So the older the trees, the more pricey the tea. That's a general rule. Also, how close the trees are to the mother tree. What do I mean by that? You know, in Wuyishan there are different cultivars. If they are endemic from there, the mother tree is also from there. It is the one tree or the few trees that gave name to the cultivar. And out of these mother trees, they have taken some cuttings to do first generation trees. And then from this first generation, they've taken some cuttings to do the second generation and so on. So how close is your generation of trees with respect to the mother trees make a difference in the price. And as we said, it's also a matter of hype. It has to be seen also in the context of a growing economy in China, a wide middle class that have a lot of money and they want to spend it and they want to buy something special. So it's the perfect situation to make a hype about rock tea that is such a famous tea. and that is also famous and made famous abroad when was also given to a US president a few decades back as a present. You might remember Da Hong Pao, which is also what is written here, Da Hong Pao, which is the most famous rock tea. But now back to our protected area. So we say the protected area is where actually you want your tea to come from. So this is my first suggestion to you, search tea coming from the protected area. But the protected area can be further divided into, did I pour it? No. Can be further divided into other regions. And or if you want zones, there are 3 main zones within the protected area you want to know about. The most, and they're actually fairly well defined. So you have that the most precious zone is called ZHENG YAN. ZHENG means real, so ZHENG YAN means real cliff, and it is a high altitude, so we say everything above 300 meters. Now you might think 300 meters is not very high for a mountain, but it actually is more hills and more cliffs that are in this area, so you don't reach the heights of a Taiwan high mountain tea that is planted above 2000 meters. So everything above 300 meters is ZHENG YAN. Then you have Ban Yan. Ban means half, so Ban Yan means half cliff, and it is a region in between 100 and 300 meters of altitude. And then you have Zhoucha that is below 100 meters. Now, as we say, ZHENG YAN is high altitude. Ban Yan is still within the protected area, but is not the peaks, is not the high altitude. And Zhoucha can be within the protected area or outside, and usually it is referred with the term Zhoucha to the plantation along the banks of the river. I'm drinking raw Wuyi, by the way. And now at this point I have to tell you one thing. All I've told you in this video is wrong. Yes, correct, is wrong. Yeah, I know some of you were already there in Google searching for ZHENG YAN rock tea, protected area rock tea, to search if you can find your deal. But as a matter of fact, basically almost everything I told you is wrong. Not everything. At the beginning of the video I told you some truth, but when I started speaking about the protected area and how the protected area is subdivided and where the most expensive tea come from, all that was bullshit. Now, some of you, those that are really very much into Chinese tea culture, and maybe have been also traveling there and make some research in Chinese literature, might have realized that all I told you was not the truth. Some other maybe that are also tea experts were there and will say, yeah, I know that, Gabriele, why are you repeating that to me? And maybe you didn't made it to this point of the video. And some other that maybe are new to Wuyi Rock Tea found some new information, and they were already searching after this type of tea. Well, now the question is, which is the truth? Which is the truth about rock tea? I will tell you in the next video. For now, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Go ahead subscribing our channel, and I will see you in the next video about the truth of the geography of yancha. Bye bye guys. And cheers.